Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nikhil, and today we have a super special guest here with us. She's the mayor of the beautiful town Rockyhill and was elected in November 2019. She is one of the only 3 women to be served as mayor in Rockyhill town since the incorporation in 1843. And she's committed to community development and has an eye towards green initiatives. And I'm sure you guys guessed it right. Yes, it's Lisa Marotta. So, hi Lisa, welcome. I'm sure this session will give a good insight about the Rockyhill community programs, and will also give good motivation to the kids. So, anything you want to add, Lisa?
Well, I'd like to add that I'm just delighted to be here, and I think this is very, very impressive that you have your own channel, that you're doing this, and I applaud you.
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, if you are ready, let's begin.
Okay.
Yep, so today's session will broadly go in 3 segments. So the first one, we're going to talk about childhood and personal journey of yours, and then we'll talk about community programs and your role as a mayor. And then we'll have a little engaging game at the end.
Okay.
So I'm really excited to go into this session. So Lisa, please tell us about your childhood, where you're born and brought up.
Okay. So I was born and raised in Middletown, Connecticut, which is not too far from here. It's a little bit different. It is a city, so different, bigger, a lot of different cultures and diversity there. And I attended public schools in Middletown, and I went on to college and then to law school, and became an attorney.
Oh, that's awesome. So even when you were younger, you went to law school for your role later. So yeah, that's awesome. So are there any funny memories from your childhood, with your parents, siblings, or friends that you want to share with us?
Oh, geez. I don't know. I mean, I think we probably did a lot of funny things. I don't know that I have one in particular that stands out. I guess, all right, so this is probably the funniest thing. When I was little, my stepbrothers used to love sports cars and race cars, and they knew every type and model and engine and sound on the highway. And my dad drove this really big, ugly station wagon because it was the only car that we could all fit in. And it had a 3rd row, and the 3rd row faced backwards. And this was back in the day when nobody wore seatbelts. I mean, it was crazy. It was chaos on wheels, right? And we'd be driving down the highway, and my brothers would hear, these engines revving, and they'd get so excited. And so anytime we would come to a stoplight, my father would purposely rev our engine in our station wagon, which is impossible to do, as you can imagine, because it's a station wagon. And we would be so embarrassed. And he would put the windows down, and he would pretend he was going to race the cars. And this was every Sunday after church, the funniest thing that I could probably remember.
Yeah, I bet some people got some laughs out there watching. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah. So are there any inspiring learnings you had from your childhood that you realized was really helpful as you grow up?
I think so. Probably spending so much time with my grandparents. My grandmother was really like a second mom to me, and my family. So my great grandmother, just to give you a little background of how I grew up, my great grandmother had this 5-family house in Middletown, and so many aunts and uncles and grandmas and everybody lived there. And so we were just accustomed to walking in and out of everybody's house or apartment, it was, I guess, and cousins coming and going, and just grew up surrounded by a lot of family. And I spent a lot of time with my grandmother. Now, my great grandmother came right from Italy. And so my grandmother and everyone else, they spoke Italian. And my grandmother was very, very committed to her Italian roots. And she belonged to all kinds of organizations and church associations. and she actually ran a dress shop. And when I was a kid, I didn't realize that she was the boss of the dress shop, but she was. And she always would hire women who had recently come to the country, or women who had a hard time communicating or speaking the English language. And so I would tag along with my grandmother, and I would just see how much she gave back to her community. At the time, right, when I was your age, I didn't realize what a blessing that was and what a good deed she was doing. But as I got older and I spent more time going to different events with her, I'm sorry, I left my phone on, and doing things and seeing how she changed people's lives just by the small gestures that she did, I think that really resonated with me and had a profound difference on what I ended up doing.
Yeah, and I think you're doing a really good job giving back to the community and doing a lot of stuff to the people.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you kind of touched up on this part in like the last question, but what inspired you really to become like the mayor of Rockyhill?
You know, I never grew up saying I wanted to be the mayor of anything. And as a matter of fact, I never grew up saying I wanted to go into politics. I think it's just the ultimate volunteer position because, you know, many people don't know, but it is a volunteer position. So I still have a real job, and then I do my mayor job, as do the town councilors. Those are all volunteer positions as well, and our Board of Education as well. But most of us who have now gone to this level have been involved in the community for many years. So for me, it started when I was in school, joining different clubs, and even all through law school, joining different organizations. And then once, when I really became an adult and had a family and got involved in the community, it started with like PTOs at school, and then it just blossomed. And before I knew it, I was on all kinds of boards and serving different commissions. And I said, you know, this is the next step. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. So like that, we finished the first segment, childhood and personal journey. So now let's move on to the second one. And in this one, we're going to be focusing on like community programs and stuff. Okay. So if you're ready, let's get into it. So for the understanding of We Kids, can you give us some idea about what the role of a mayor is?
Sure. I think the easiest way to explain it is it's a lot like being the principal of a school. Yeah. So there are lots of things that go on a daily basis, and you get to sort of have a bird's eye view of what's going on. And at the same time, it's a lot of listening to folks out in the community and what are their needs. And that's really what I spend most of my time doing.
Yep, that's a great way to explain it. So thanks for that. And the next question is, I saw in your profile that you like, one of your major focuses is green initiatives. So can you please throw some light on like those initiatives, please?
Yeah. Oh, thank you for asking about that. You know, it's funny. I really, I'm really looking forward to exploring different green initiatives. So in Rockyhill, we actually do a very good job when it comes to finding ways to be environmentally friendly. But I have been researching ways that we can actually become a certified green town, and there is such a thing. And once you have done so many things, and there are many different categories, but in a nutshell, once your town has done certain things, they become qualified to get a certification. And then with that certification, you can apply for different grants, which is essentially money for a project that you don't have to pay back. And you can do projects that benefit your community and benefit the environment. So that's really what I'm trying to work on that side. And then another thing that kind of affects the environment that I'm working on has to do with trash and recycling. Because I don't know if you guys know, but we happen to be in a recycling crisis. So there's really not a lot of place for our garbage and recycling anymore. So we have to rethink what we're doing. And that may mean that we need to pull more stuff out of our typical trash bins and put more things into recycling, or separate the things that are going into recycling better, because there are better uses for that, better end uses. And it also means maybe taking a look at what we do with our food scraps. Maybe we no longer put food scraps in. So in terms of like green things, that's sort of where my mind is right now.
Okay. So, and I see you're also into like nature walks and stuff. And even I am actually. So
Okay. Do you go on the trails?
Yeah, I do. And once I saw on your Facebook that you posted that you went to Dividend Park, and something funny was the exact day, the exact time we were there, but
Yes.
like at the other side and where like the waterfall was.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, I was actually there with my dad and my sister.
Oh, that's
And
such a coincidence.
yeah, and when I saw your Facebook post, I was like, oh my gosh, I was in the same trail with the mayor.
My kids and I love to go there. First of all, it's so pretty and it's so peaceful, and the dogs love it. So it's fun for all of us, and it's good exercise, right? And during the pandemic, we really need to get out and exercise.
Yeah.
Keep our minds sharp.
Yeah. Yeah. So, considering the current pandemic time, please tell us about like what Rockyhill community programs that are focusing on like health and safety. So, like considering the COVID pandemic occurring right now, what health and safety factors have Rockyhill taken to spread the virus, or what they need to do to spread the virus?
Thank you. That's an excellent question. I'm glad you brought that up. And the timing is perfect because, as you know, if you watch the news, and unfortunately we can't get away from the news, we're starting to see our numbers go up, even here in Rockyhill, right?
Yeah.
So what we are focused on is really trying our best to communicate to everyone, whether you're a resident or a business, the importance of what we now call the 3 W's. And the 3 W's are wear a mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. And I'll tell you, if we can follow those 3 W's, it will go a long way to slow the virus down, because the reality is it's here. We just have to be cautious, and we have to take personal responsibility for how we act when we go out into the community. So if we can get that message across, that's really half the battle.
Yeah. And also I saw your video you posted this morning. You were interviewing the counselor.
Yeah, Pankaj Prakash, yes.
Yeah. And yeah, I saw like you were talking about like the 3 W's there. So yeah, that's awesome. And next, how about diversity? So considering the diversity around, what programs do you have that will include all diverse representatives?
Thank you. That's a great question too. So obviously we want to focus on making people feel welcome and inclusive. And so one of the things that the town council is working on right now is developing a new commission that will focus on creating spaces and opportunities for intergroup communications and dialogue and activities, whatever it may be, to bring folks together from diverse groups, but not just bring them together, but actually bring them together so that they really have a full understanding and appreciation of how diverse we are, right? And that we want to make sure that there is inclusion at every level, and that people feel like the town is here for them. You know, we want the town to, for me, I know wherever I would live, I want the town to reflect who I am and what my needs are. So that's really our goal, is to make sure everyone feels that way.
Yep. And the next is, how can kids like my age like participate in community activities, or like any special programs for kids, like including drawing or writing, sports, obviously before the pandemic. So any information about that?
Well, I think probably most of the activities I could think of, if they were not enrichment programs through the schools, there certainly have been some wonderful enrichment programs I know in my kids. So my youngest is now in 6th grade. So some great enrichment programs out there. Through Parks and Recreation, we have lots of good programming. Through our library, we have lots of good programming, and much of that is virtual now, which is wonderful. So, if people are not feeling comfortable with in-person interaction, there are activities for kids to do virtually through the library.
Yeah. And I really enjoy going to like the library, and I try to participate in lots of parks and recreation stuff. So yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're already in a great position as the mayor. So what future plans do you like? Where do you see yourself like in maybe like the next 5 years?
Hopefully right here. So this is my first full year. I think actually it may have been yesterday. I think it was like yesterday or the day before was officially 1 year that we had gotten sworn in as a new administration. So, I would love a few more years of doing this. The thing is that we have 2-year terms. So next year will be an election year. And, so you have a short window of opportunity to implement some of the things that you want to do, because then it's a new election season and you have to hope, geez, if I don't win this election, all of that work, hopefully someone either takes it on or it just goes out the window. So I'm really going to try hard to stay in this position for a while because I love it.
Yeah, and you're already doing awesome.
Thank
So,
you.
how can students get involved to help the community if they can't volunteer like in person? You already touched upon this a little bit, but a little more information.
Okay. Well, that's a good idea. So kids looking to get involved in the community, other than the library and stuff like that, you're saying?
Well, it could include the
Yeah.
not in person, like people who are doing like homeschool and remote learning. Yeah.
It's a good question. It probably is an area that we would need to focus on a little bit more through Parks and Rec. I know that they do offer virtual programming as well. And certainly now that we're changing seasons, I imagine they'll be changing themes, just like sports, when it changes seasons, changes, the activity. So I imagine that they have some really good stuff rolled up their sleeves that they'll be putting out virtually very soon.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I will tell you, one of the things that I would like to do is have the kids come and do some reporting at the town council meetings. So I know that the schools have town councils. I don't know if they're necessarily student councils. I don't know if those student councils are meeting now because of, virtual school. But I'd like to explore that in January. See if we get some participation at our meetings and just hear from the kids and what they're doing and what they're thinking and what they'd like to see. Yeah.
Yep. And another thing I wanted to share, is I do a lot of like Tableau data. Like I just go through Tableau a lot and like analytics and stuff. And I just saw I was just seeing like corona cases around like the world and America, and then going into Connecticut, then going into Rockyhill. And compared to a lot of the other places in America and Connecticut, Rockyhill is one of the top least COVID cases. So Rockyhill is doing a really good job based on the data I've been collecting.
Okay.
So yeah.
So that's good to hear. It's really hard because, like I said before, it really is kind of up to us as individuals how we're going to respond to the pandemic. And it's so, so important if you are someone that's considered vulnerable, so you're a little bit older, right? Or you have some underlying health conditions, you want to really make sure that you're not going out into crowds and stuff like that. And likewise, if you have those folks in your home, you have to be cognizant of what you're doing because potentially it could affect them. So yeah, I think the Rocky Hill residents have been wonderful in getting out and wearing their masks and social distancing and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for kids like my age, how is there any way that we could like help during the pandemic time?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the more you talk about, I think number one, the importance of the 3 Ws, right?
Yeah.
And kind of making it fun. Like no one should be afraid of it. It's just it's where we are, right? And no one should feel ashamed to wear a mask. It's just where we are, or not cool, right? I mean, this is just what we're doing right now, and that's fine. So I think the more you can get that message out, and I think too for kids, the more you can get the message out about staying connected, like what you're doing right now is a great way to stay connected. So I know probably if you're virtual learning, like my kids are virtual learning, they're just kind of zoomed out, right, by the end of the day. But maybe they'll play games or videos or whatever with their friends. It's just important to stay connected to your friends and find other things to do. Go, read a book, get your mind on other things, and stay away from the television, right? Because the television just has all of this crazy messaging that is alarming, right? So I think the most important thing to do as kids is just kind of share your thoughts and stay in touch with one another, check in with one another.
Yep.
And get outside as much as you can, get some exercise.
Yeah. Well, social distancing too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And one other thing I wanted to share is like continuing from your point of staying connected. Me and my mom were hosting Jeopardy like within our community. So we just go onto like Zoom and then share a screen and then we play Jeopardy.
That's really cool. I love that idea. Now that's a perfect example of staying connected, right?
Yeah. And it's really fun too. We do it on the weekends and it's a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that, we finished the second segment. So now we're going to go on to the little game we have here.
Okay.
So it's called Rapid Fire. So I'm just going to give you like little quick questions and you have to try to try to like a little short, but it's fine if you go a little ahead. That's totally fine. So if you're ready, we can begin.
Okay.
So
okay, what if I don't know the answer? I'm going to pass if I don't know the answer.
Yeah, you can pass, sure.
Okay.
So what are your favorite or inspiring personalities?
My favorite inspiring personalities?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. My favorite inspiring personalities. Well, there's a lot. I loved listening and reading Justice Ginsburg's opinions and just listening to what she has to say. I love to read literature and poems by Maya Angelou. I find that very relaxing. And then just in terms of who else would inspire me? I don't know, maybe I'm not that inspired, but I think those two women, and I love to read. So any good book will often inspire me, and I will flip back. So I'm sorry, this is a long answer.
No, it's fine.
Sometimes I'll have 2 or 3 books going at a time, and there may be a night where I have enough capacity to read something academic, right, and learn a little something, and then there might be a night where I just want a silly spy novel. So I go back and forth, but I will spend many, many hours reading at night.
Yeah, me too. I love reading too. And it's fine if you go over the time limit. If you want, you can just give how long your answer wants.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So what was the first like thing or goal you were super duper proud of that like when you achieved it?
Passing the bar. So after law school, everyone freaks you out that the bar is so difficult, and it's this 2-day test, right? And much of what is on the bar in the first day is not stuff that you even learned in law school. So you have to take a class just to take the test to pass, right, and get your license. So when I got the results, I remember specifically the day that I got the results. I got the phone call from somebody I knew, and it was just, that was a goal that I was like, wow, I did it.
Yep. And next is an activity from your childhood that made you cherish or personally proud by helping like others, which I know you have a lot because you're obviously the mayor and you do a lot of community programs. So,
but you mean from when I was really young? Is that your question? Yeah. So when I was really young, one of the things,
like single digit.
Like single digits.
Yeah.
I think probably doing a lot of fundraising, like whether it was just gathering coats in the winter or shoes, just having a goal like that where there were people in need, or making gift boxes, for homeless people, things like that, because there's always, no matter what month it is, right? It's either too hot or too cold, or people are in need, or their houses have caught on fire, whatever the tragedy may be. So I think, I still enjoy doing that now.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you lose a competition, what's your reaction? Like, are you usually super angry about it, like really sad, or are you just like proud of yourself for trying?
Yeah, I think probably the latter. I don't typically get angry in those situations. If I were to get angry, it would probably be at myself, because I would think of all the ways I could have done better, right? But at the end of the day, you have to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and try. That's all you can do. And you know what? If we didn't have losers, we wouldn't have winners. And there's a time and place for everything. I truly believe that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you will get there. I mean, if we all got to some goal when we wanted the goal, it would be too easy, right? And the achievement wouldn't feel special. So when you have to really work for something and you earn it, it's a really special feeling.
Yep, absolutely. What is probably the craziest thing like you've done in your life? Like most craziest thing you've done in your life?
Craziest thing. You know what the craziest thing I've done? I'm not a crazy risk taker. Probably the craziest thing I did after college, I went on vacation with my girlfriends, and we're still very good friends today. And we went to some island, and they told us don't swim in this particular area because the tide was rough and it had an undertow, and I guess there were these sea urchins, right? And you didn't want to get bit by one of the, or step on one, it was just like, you shouldn't do it. But everyone was swimming in this beautiful water. So I remember we just went in with everyone else and got stuck in the undertow. And it was the most terrifying thing in the world. And literally, I remember we were all in, and we were underwater. And the wave came and it just pulled us out into the ocean and then threw us onto the sand. And we were just like this, like a cartoon on the sand. And so that was a tough lesson to learn. We'll never do it again. Yeah. And I tell my kids, oh my gosh, I'm so cautious with them at the ocean. I mean, in Connecticut, is that going to happen? No, never. No. But, when you're in another country, you have to pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you had a superpower, what would it be?
Oh, I would be invisible. My son and I talk about this all the time. We would be totally invisible, because then you could do anything. You could get out of things. You could go into things. You could just, it would be so cool.
Yeah. I wanted to be that when I was small, because I used to watch a lot of cartoon shows. Yeah. And I used to just watch ghosts, like just going to random places and without nobody knowing.
Yeah. Or to be in a portal, right? Like to just be able to be here and then be there somewhere else, right? That would be
like when you wake up, you don't want to walk to school. Just
yeah,
horrible.
horrible. Yeah.
So, what's your favorite quote or like that inspired you? And you said like a few of your inspiring personalities. So, do you have any examples of their quotes?
So I have 2 quotes on my refrigerator. I love quotes. The 2 quotes on my refrigerator are "Be the change you wish to see in the world." And the other quote is, I might not say it perfectly, but life is not waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. So
Yeah,
I
that's
think
awesome.
those are 2 really special quotes.
Yeah, that's really inspiring. So now we have another little special guest here, and it's my sister. So she has a little question that she wants to ask. So you want to come in?
It's nice to meet you, Lisa, and I have a question. What was your favorite princess in your child memory?
My favorite princess?
Yeah, princess character.
I think probably Cinderella.
Oh.
I loved Cinderella's dress. You know, when she had to sew a beautiful gown, and yeah, I think.
Yeah, mine is Aurora.
Oh, I love Aurora too. I really do. And is Mulan a princess?
Yeah.
Or is she just she is an actual princess?
I think she's like a princess in the middle.
Yeah, I think so too. But I do like her.
My sister has like every single doll of every single princess.
Yeah, except I don't have what is that character again? I forgot that.
She has like a lot of dolls and toys.
When my daughter was little, we went to Disney, and we went to a princess lunch or something, and she dressed up as Cinderella in her and all. Yeah, it was cute.
If there was no like this virus, then my dad will have like plans to go to Disneyland.
See, I know, but soon you will be able to go when the virus is gone.
Yeah, it might be 7 when we go to the.
That would be so
exciting
exciting
for her 7th birthday.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And I love your dress, by the way.
Thank you.
You look like a princess.
So we just finished rapid fire. Hope you liked it.
I liked it.
So, do you have any feedback about the program so far, especially hosted by We Kids?
No, I absolutely love the program. I love the format. I love the length of the categories. I think it's all super cool.
Thank you, Lisa. So this was a wonderful conversation. Wish we could have spent some more time, but obviously you have other community programs that you need to take care of. So do you have any closing message to like the young viewers watching? Like any inspiring?
Yeah, well, I think that what I would like the kids to know is keep trying and keep reaching for the stars, and every day is a new day. And I'm so tremendously proud of all the students in Rockyhill that they get up and they go to school, whether it's on their computers or whether it's in person, because it's not easy, and I know that it's sometimes a difficult time. And so I'm truly, truly proud of all of you for what you're doing. So keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, Lisa. We really appreciate you taking some time out for us kids and providing really good learnings and motivating us kids. So thanks for being here. And bye, Lisa. Bye, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.
That kind of looks like my auntie's puppy, but it's all white.
Oh, how
So
pretty.
cute.
Say
Is
hello.
it a he or a she?
Hello. It's a boy.
Oh, what's his name?
His name is Winston.
Oh, wow.
And my auntie has like a puppy, and it's white. It's all white, and it's called Snowy.
Oh, how pretty. So we have another dog. His name is Scout.
Is he a puppy?
He is not a puppy. He's going to be 3 years old this December. We named him after a character in a book called To Kill a Mockingbird, which you will probably read.
And what's the name?
And his name is Scout.
Uh,
And this one, I don't know how we came up with Winston, but